slight breeze coming out of the west, but everybody is ready as the Eagles have won the toss, and they will receive first. The Detroit Lions coming in with a record of 2-6, led by head coach Bobby Ross, who was in the midst of his first losing season as a head coach. Has won his only game lifetime, though, against these Philadelphia Eagles. Leading the Eagles, a man who's under some pressure himself, head coach Ray Rhodes, in the 4th year of his 5-year contract. There's some question about whether or not he'll be back next season, but so far so good, I guess. In year number 4, he's 1-7. I guess not quite so good, but he is 2-0 lifetime against the Lions. So good against them.
Bobby Ross has never had a losing season in the National Football League, a couple of 8-18, but he's not used to losing. Ray Rhodes, 15 years as an assistant coach with Green Bay and San Francisco. First 2 seasons here, playoff seasons, not used to losing. Both guys struggling with struggling teams.
And Jason Hanson set to kick it off for the Lions. Allen Rossum, a good return man, takes it in the end zone, decides to stay in. Was going to bring it out, but Corey Walker talked him into staying in, so it will be a touchback, and the Eagles will start things off from their own 20, led by Bobby Hoying, making his first start in a month. He had been the starter at the beginning of the season, but had been yanked twice because of poor performance. Up front, the guys in front of him, the offensive line has been steady. Trey Thomas, the #1 pick at left tackle, has been solid all season long. In the backfield, quick change. Just before they came out, they decided Charlie Garner will not start. Deuce Staley, number 22, will be the starting running back for the Eagles as they start things off 1st and 10 from their own 20. The pitch to Staley right away. Short pickup, maybe a yard, brought down by Rob Fredrickson after gain of 2. The defensive front for the Detroit Lions, a couple of solid veterans there. Robert Forshea on the left end and Luther Ellis, a strong tackle right there in the middle. The linebacking core changed from last year. Alan Aldridge brought over from the Broncos, Rob Fredrickson from the Raiders to try and shore things up. And in the defensive backfield, the guys that will be tested today, Terry Fair, the rookie, and Brian Westbrook, the 2nd-year man, both corners, both speedy, but both young. 2nd down. Staley again. Gets it out to the 26-yard line. Stephen Boyd, the middle linebacker, with the tackle.
Yeah, it's important for the Eagles to get off today and run the football. You know, and right there, they pulled the left guard, Jermaine Mayberry, a former #1 draft pick in 1996, trying to find himself at left guard right now, trying to get a power game going at a defensive front that isn't very big or physical.
3rd and 4 for the Eagles. Hoying out of the shotgun. 4 receivers in the game. And a quick handoff to Staley on the delay. Gets out close to the 1st down marker. Dan Owens brings him down. It's going to be good enough for the 1st down.
It's just going to be a draw play right here, set up by the pass action of Bobby Hoying. You're going to see everybody is going to set pass right now, try and draw these linemen upfield. They're trying to draw Deuce Staley, a guy that shows good power. Inside, dragging a couple defenders there for the 1st down.
1st down from the 31, play action. Hoying gets rid of it, throws it incomplete. The nearest receiver there, Kevin Turner. Robert Forshea put the pressure on him.
4 receivers out in that pattern, and everybody well covered. Kevin Turner was the first read, covered by the linebacker, and then Jason Dunn a little bit further down. Bobby Hoying, a guy that they're trying to get out in the open field, uses athletic ability because he struggled in the pocket. You know, get him an easy pattern, but Detroit covered that very well.
It'll bring up 2nd down and 10. The fullback Turner, the lone man in the backfield. And it's to Fryer, Irving Fryer, on the end around, but Fryer only picks up 2 yards. Terry Fair, the rookie, with the tackle.
Trying to get the ball to Irving Fryer any way they can. Last week on Monday night against Dallas here at the Vet, they ran Irving Fryer in the same play for 12 yards. And Jermaine Mayberry again is going to be out in front now. You know, Irving Fryer said, you know, did you see me on that reverse last week? I showed some speed. He showed some speed there, but not very good leaping ability, not able to get over Jermaine Mayberry. Good play by Terry Fair.
Brings up a 3rd down and 8. They need to get just over the 40-yard line for the 1st. Deuce Staley in motion. Out of the shotgun, Hoying to Staley. Tiptoeing around, gets absolutely nowhere. There's a flag down on the play. Dan Owens with the tackle.
That play was ugly from the start. Deuce Staley lined up wrong.
Illegal shift, offense, 2 men moving prior to the snap. Penalty is declined, 4th down.
That's our referee Dick Hantak making the call. So it brings up a 4th down and a punting situation for the Eagles. Tommy Hutton on the punt. Terry Fair, the rookie who is a good return man, is back to receive. Fair takes it at the 28. Doesn't evade the tackle. Nice play. Mike Caldwell pulls him down. Caldwell with a special teams play. And the Eagles getting ready to go from the defensive side for the first time today here in Philadelphia. Play from their own 28-yard line, 1st and 10. Charlie Batch under center. To the air right away. Incomplete, intended for Herman Moore. Goes right through his fingers. Batch leading the Lions after being benched last week at halftime, but he has been good in his starts. This is his 7th start, NFL Rookie of the Month for the month of October. The guys in front, the one change at right guard, Tony Semple, replacing the injured Jeff Hardings. His offensive weapons as good as anybody in the league. The great Barry Sanders and Johnny Morton and Herman Moore are the wideouts. 2nd down, 10 to go. Moore in motion. And a handoff to Barry. Sanders out to the 33-yard line. Michael Zordich with the tackle. The Lions defense up front led by Hugh Douglas, the former Jet. 8.5 sacks in 8 games so far this season. The linebacking core, a quick change for them. Mike Caldwell gets the start at left backer, replacing James Darling, who's out with a knee injury. And in the defensive backfield for them, Brian Dawkins is making his first start in 3 weeks. He missed the last 2 games with an ankle injury. 3rd down, 5 to go. Play action. Batch with time. Stays on his feet, gets out to just across the 35-yard line, but it's not going to be enough. Ike Reese brings him down to stop him short of the 1st.
Yeah, and the Eagles came after Charlie Batch in the first 3rd down with a blitz. You're going to see Willie Thomas is going to come on a blitz here, along with Mike Zordich, trying to get pressure on the young guy. They go to a 3-man line. Willie Thomas comes off, gets the pressure. There's Ike Reese around the outside, and there's Mike Zordich to clean up. A lot of shoestring tackles to bring Batch down, nothing solid.
John Jett on the punt. Alan Rossum back to receive for the Eagles. Takes it at the 18. Gets it out to the 26-yard line. Pete Triplevich with the tackle. 47-yard punt by Jett, an 8-yard return by Rossum. No score in Philadelphia. Eagles coach Ray Rowe told us this week that he wants to get his team off to some success early. First possession they wound up punting. We'll see how they do with possession number 2 here. Starting at the 26, double tight end set. Deuce Staley, the lone back, and he gets the carry. Out across the 30 to the 31, hit first by Alan Aldridge, the former Bronco. Now, if the suspense is killing you, then tonight, well, the wait is over. The television event of the series is here when agents Mulder and Scully return an all-new episode of The X-Files. The new season begins tonight at 9, 8 Central on Fox.
Now, are you in suspense, Curt?
Never seen the show. I've seen it once. It's very good. It's an exceptional show, but I've only seen it once because of my busy schedule. You understand?
Work, Curt.
Exactly. 2nd down. Quick pass complete, and it's caught. Jeff Graham makes a nice catch and gets enough yards for the 1st down. 12 yards on the play from Bobby Hoying to Jeff Graham.
Just a little play like that for the Eagles is a spark. You come back into the huddle, you get the 1st down. Bobby Hoying very decisive on this throw here. It's going to be a 3-step drop. They hit Graham on the slant against Bryant Westbrook, and he breaks out of the grasp of Westbrook, and able to pick up the 1st down. And they need success like that early in this game.
So it gives them a 1st down. Bobby Hoying drops back. Quick pass to Deuce Staley. Flags are down. And Staley brought down by Luther Ellis. Well, there is a penalty on the play.
Yeah, I think they're going to see Ian Beckles downfield. Yeah. Illegal man downfield, and on screens like that, it's all timing. And Beckles, the right guard, is the third guy out on the screen.
Ineligible, number 71, downfield prior to the pass. 5-yard penalty, repeat the down, first down.
You see, Jermaine is a young guy. You know, he's just learning how to play left guard. He played left tackle most of the season last year, and he's finding a new home, and trying to learn how to run the screen is important. You've got to come flat down the line of scrimmage when you release, and that time he bellied, trying to get to Dan Owens, who was chasing the play.
So it sets up 1st and 15 from the 38. Hand off to Staley. Staley picks up 3, hit hard by Ron Rice. And Deuce Staley is the guy who hasn't been the starter all the time, but he gets the bulk of the carries like a starter normally does.
He's averaging 3.9 yards a carry, and in an offense that has struggled this year, is last in the league in a lot of categories. You know, he's been solid. You know, he doesn't lay the ball on the ground. He constantly breaks tackles. The first tackle, he makes that guy miss, and he's a tough guy. You know, and I just think that you got to keep running him. Unfortunately, the Eagles have been behind early in so many games, it takes them out of the game.
2 tight ends in the game now for Philadelphia. Hoying back to pass, gets it complete to Staley again. And Deuce seems to be their man right now. Deuce is the ace so far in this game, at least for the Eagles. 5-yard pickup.
Now, you know, right now, Bill Musgrave calling the plays for the Eagles are calling safe passes for Bobby. Short drops, he steps up in the pocket nice here, and all young quarterbacks, you want to see him get up in the pocket. That ball fluttered a little bit because it got hit by Robert Porcher, but Hoying did a good job there of stepping up into the pocket, knowing he was going to get hit a little bit, taking the hit and concentrating on the receiver. And already today looks a little more fundamental than he has so far this season.
3rd and 6 for the Eagles. They need to cross the 47 of Detroit for the first. Hoying, quick pass incomplete. That pass intended for Russell Copeland, but he couldn't hang on. Brings up a 4th down and another punting situation for Philadelphia.
And when you look at the less than 50% completion of Bobby Hoying, you've got to take into consideration a lot of drop passes. You know, Bobby put that ball right on the money there. It was a little high, but you've got to catch that ball, especially when a team is struggling, when a first down is going to wait for you when you bring it down.
Tommy Hutton back to punt for the Eagles. Terry Fair deep to receive for the Lions. A low kick. Fair takes it with a fair catch just inside the 10-yard line. So the Lions will begin their second possession from there after a 44-yard punt by Tommy Hutton. Ryan Baldinger, and Barry Sanders is the name of the day. 99 career rushing touchdowns, only needs 1 more for 100 in his career, and they're backed up the 10-yard line right now, but Barry could break one at any minute.
Yeah, and it's scary when you're in the defensive secondary and he's coming at you, because he's going to give you 3 or 4 moves before you even know he's in the secondary.
Lions begin 1st and 10. Play action. Batch running out of time, gets it off complete to Barry Sanders. Sanders gets it out to near the 15-yard line, chased out of bounds by Mike Caldwell. There's an injury on the field to one of the Lions. It's Ray Roberts, the left tackle. And they've had some injury problems on their line. Tony Semple starting the right guard this week because Jeff Hardings is out already.
Yeah, well, Ray Roberts didn't practice most of the week last week. He was out with an injury, and he struggled in the game as a result. Now the Eagles go to an 8-man front, you know, to try and stop the run, and Charlie comes out throwing the ball. They get good pressure on him.
And 2nd and 3. There he is, Barry Sanders, out to near the 40-yard line. William Thomas and Bobby Taylor bring him down, but only after a gain of 23. And that's typical Barry Sanders. Short gain here, big gain there. And here's a guy who obviously is on the road to Canton and the Hall of Fame. Started in 1989 as a draft pick that people wondered, who is this kid out of Oklahoma State, but has put up some major numbers since then.
Yeah, and the only thing missing right here, you see, is that Super Bowl. You know, that's going to come. He's going to get there. But this is the step that has led him to a lot of frustration this year, and some of the comments he's made about his team and about their effort in some weeks.
We'll talk about that as the game wears on. Bats back to pass. Wide open, Herman Moore. Moore into Eagles territory. Bobby Taylor gets him out of bounds at the 36-yard line. A pickup of 24. And that's something that Herman Moore has been openly complaining about not being in the offense. There's a flag down on the play, though. But since Charlie Batch has come in, he has been removed a little bit from the game plan.
This play is going to come back against the Lions, something that's really hurt them 2 weeks ago against Minnesota. 14 penalties, and Bobby Ross, you know, when is this going to stop?
Number 71, illegal hands to the face, 10-yard penalty, repeat the down, first down.
And so that's a big one after a 24-yard gain.
Yeah, here's Larry Tharp. He's going up against Greg Jefferson here. You're going to see the hands now. He's going to go for the punch. Misses the punch. He comes to the face mask. Walter Rasby, the tight end right there, well covered by Mike Zordich. That's why they went to Herman Moore.
So it's 1st and 20, winds up being basically a 34-yard penalty after the 24-yard pickup. Barry Sanders. Not much, the pickup of 1. Hugh Douglas with the tackle.
Now, how do you stop Barry Sanders? I mean, the first thing you got to do is you have to make penetration. You've got to play defense on the offensive side of the ball, and you got to make him start and stop as many times as you can. And then you just basically have to entrap him. You know, you got to get as many guys around him as possible, because he's going to make people miss now. And the way he does that is his ability to jump from side to side.
2nd and 19. Play action to Sanders. Batch under pressure, goes down. Brian Dawkins with the sack. And we mentioned Dawkins back after missing the last 2 weeks with an ankle injury.
Yeah, and here's Brian Dawkins right here, along with Willie Thomas, are going to come on the backside of Charlie Batch. He never sees him coming. It's a play-action pass, and Dawkins is just looking for the hole to come through. Now, the key to blitzing is to try to find the opening and then take the opening. And Dawkins there, finding his way through the hole, sees the gap, and takes Charlie Batch down.
On 3rd down, the Lions need to get all the way to the 50-yard line. Batch dumps it off to Barry Sanders.
Watch out.
He's got some running room. Out across the 40, pushed out of bounds by William Thomas. Still going to be 10 yards shy of the first down. A pickup of 19 on the little swing pass.
Yeah, and Barry Sanders, most receptions in the season coming into this year was 44. Coming in today, he had 26 catches. And Charlie Batch is finding him as his safety valve right here. Now, this is a screen all the way. You see Semple out front, Jimmy Pine, good blocks. But now, good pursuit. That's Willie Thomas making a tackle from the other side of the field, and that's the effort they need today to contain Barry Sanders.
John Jett's second punt to Allen Rossum. Backs Rossum up to the 13. Does a little dance, but gets only to the 14. 48 yards on the punt, officially 3 yards on the return. We have no score. Eagles coming back on offense.
Be a part of the toughest, smartest army in the world. Be all you can be. By Saturn, makers of the world's first 3-door coupe. Why didn't anyone think of this before? By Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, this is the taste. And by Visa, the preferred card of the NFL. It's everywhere you want to be.
And the Philadelphia story is we are scoreless with 4.5 minutes left to play here in the first quarter. Charlie Garner deep in the eye for the Eagles. And he gets the handoff. Not much running room, though. Alan Aldridge and Rob Fredrickson bring him down. Pickup of 2.
Yeah, and Charlie Garner is a guy, to me, has struggled this year. And struggled for a reason that nobody can really explain. I mean, Charlie Garner, the first 4 years here in Philadelphia, a solid 4.7 yards a carry. Now, and this year, 2.7 yards a carry. And with the loss of Ricky Waters, they were expecting Charlie to come in here and be able to carry the mail. And he hasn't done it so far this season. And you know, it's unexplainable. I mean, he hasn't really lost a step, but he's not in sync with this offense.
And Bobby Hoying and the Eagles have to call a timeout with some confusion there. They had 3 receivers in the game but couldn't figure out where everyone was supposed to go.
First timeout.
So a timeout on the field, and we'll take one as well. Bobby Hoying and the Eagles trying to get things straight for Philly. As we got Motown against Philadelphia side.
Don't confuse the two now. This is the sounds of Philadelphia. And they like to compete with Motown.
The competition equal here so far, as the Eagles have no score and the Lions have no score.
And the Lions have just changed their defensive front here for this series. They've gone to a 3-4 defense in a linebacker, George Jameson.
Second down. Charlie Garner. Garner in the open field. Garner all the way out to the 39-yard line. Mark Carrier gets the tackle, but only after 18-yard pickup by Garner, and that his longest rush of the season so far.
And that's the explosion I'm talking about from Charlie Garner. See, here's Dan Owens, the nose tackle on a 3-4 defense. They double him. Kevin Turner, good ISO block on the middle linebacker, Steve Boyd. And next thing you know, Garner is right on the safety Carrier.
Officially, it's a 19-yard gain, so it's first down. Ball on the 37. Garner again. Out to the 40. Picks up 3.
Charlie Garner dives to the Philadelphia 40.
Charlie Garner has more yards in this game already than he had last week.
You know, for fans that have been watching Charlie now since 1994, you know, it used to be said that he was shot out of a cannon. And, you know, when Ricky was here, they were thunder and lightning, and he was a good change of pace back. You know, and so far this year, he hasn't gotten under his track at all in the first 8 games. I think he's looking to really recoup that the last 8 games.
Second down, Boyd. Swings it out, complete to Jeff Graham. Graham makes the catch just beyond the first down marker, gains 8. And the chains keep moving for the Eagles, which is what they needed to do early in this game.
Yeah, and talking to Bobby Hoying on Friday, said, you know, we see something at Westbrook. You know, he's a physical player. He likes to get up on our guys, but with Jeff Graham and Irving Fryer, big guys, they thought that they could get an advantage. You know, and they thought that there was something in his game they could go today. They've been picking on him on the right side repeatedly in the first quarter.
High formation for the Eagles. Garner gets the handoff. Stopped right at midfield by Stephen Boyd. Pickup of 2. But he earned those 2. Stephen Boyd, the middle linebacker, playing the run exceptionally well this year, as is this entire Lion defense.
Yeah, you know, and Stephen Boyd came here 4 years ago at a Boston college, unheralded 5th-round draft pick. He has taken the place of Chris Spielman. And the way he's played the last 2 years, they've forgotten Chris Spielman in his town. Now, he said he learned a lot from Chris. You know, not only about things on the field, but off the field as well. But they're solid in the middle with Boyd there, their leading tackle.
Play action. Hoying over the middle, complete to Garner. Gets it out to the 45-yard line, now out to L.A. for an NFL update with the other JB, Joe Buck.
All right, thank you, Curt. As we look at Dan Reeves and the Atlanta Falcons off to the best start in franchise history, up to a great start today in New England, already up 7-0. 7-yard strike to O.J. Santiago, 14-3 now. Atlanta leading the Patriots. Back to Philadelphia and Curt and Brian.
We know the Falcons can do it at home. They're doing it on the road this week, looking to go 7-2, first time in franchise history.
You know, last year at the midpoint of the season, they were 1-7. Won 6 of their last 8 games. It's carried over this year.
On 3rd and 3, Hoying goes nowhere, brought down for the sack. Robert Bailey gets it.
Yeah, the nickelback, Robert Bailey, came in there and stuffed him.
They lose 3 yards on the play. Brings up a punting situation again for Tommy Hutton.
Yeah, you're going to see Robert Bailey right here, coming on the outside on a blitz. Hoying never saw him. Hoying stepped up in the pocket like he was going to run a quarterback draw, and Bailey shut that down.
Terry Fairback, the receiver for the Lions, decides to let it go over his head and into the end zone. Flag down on the play. Let's see what they call. Dick Hantak, the referee, talking things over, an ineligible man, illegal man downfield. So I assume the Lions would probably want them to kick this one over.
Yeah, you want to get Terry Fair as many touches as possible in the return game. You know, and for Eagle fans, you know, they saw 7 special team penalties on Monday night here.
Offense, number 56, down prior to the kick, 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down, 4th down.
And that's Mike Caldwell, who the penalty's called on. Negates a 48-yard punt.
Yeah, Mike Caldwell, who made the opening punt tackle here this afternoon, trying to get an early jump. You know, and that's a rhythm thing. You know, you're trying to time it with the punter. And generally speaking, the timing is set by the rush of the defense. And you've got to block those guys for a 2 count before you release. Caldwell trying to get an early jump was downfield.
So Hutton's going to punt again to Fair. Fair's going to be able to catch this one at the 11-yard line. Gets it out to the 14, 42 yards on the punt, 3 yards on the return. Kevin Turner with the tackle. Hey, next week it's Fox NFL Sunday's doubleheader. First, it's a battle between the top two teams in the NFC West as the 49ers clash with those Atlanta Falcons. Then Brett Favre and the Packers head to New York to take on the Giants or other regional action. Coverage begins at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific on Fox.
Yeah, just something about that Atlanta team. 6-2 at the turn here, halfway point, Curt. That's the best start the Falcons have ever gotten started off on in their franchise history.
Well, their best year was in the early 80s, 82, when they were 12-4, but they won their last 9 games in the regular season that year, so that was a team that struggled at the beginning of the year. This one doing, obviously, just the opposite. First and 10 for the Lions from the 13, Barry Sanders. Gets nowhere before being tied a little bit down by Brian Dawkins. Picks up 1.
Excellent job inside of pursuit by the Philadelphia Eagles here. You're going to see right here, Steve Martin and Hollis Thomas out here flowing now as soon as Barry touches the ball. That's Brandon Whiting right there, 98. And look at Dawkins coming up from the safety position. That's how you stop Barry. You make him run laterally, and you don't let him make that one vertical move to get that momentum going.
Second down and 9 now. Batch to Johnny Morton, or at least intended that way. Morton not able to hang on. Falls incomplete. Troy Vincent on the coverage.
Now Troy Vincent draws the assignment of Johnny Morton
of the
today.
first quarter.
And that play's going to end the quarter. No score here in Philadelphia. Fox NFL Sunday will continue right after these messages. Quarter here in Philadelphia, no score. 3rd and 9 for the Lions from the 14. Batch dumps it off to Tommy Vardell. Vardell stopped short. Bobby Taylor with the big hit.
Well, the Eagles will take that every time. Dumping it off to Tommy Vardell on 3rd and 8 like that. And give Bobby Taylor credit. He had Herman Moore all the way down the field one-on-one, and he blanketed him. And Herman Moore right now struggling this year to try to find the form that he had the last 4 years.
John Jett on for his 3rd punt of the afternoon. Allen Rossum back to receive for the Eagles. Jett gets a good one. Rossum takes it at the 33. Brought down at the 42-yard line. 49 yards on the punt, 10 on the return. Lamar Campbell with the tackle. We are still scoreless here in the city of brotherly love.
A free agent that made the team in Detroit. We ran into his father the other night, parking cars over at Bonaparte, and said, "My son's playing on Sunday." I said, "Who is he?" He said, "Lamar Campbell." I said, 39 white.
Quick pass going deep. Bobby Hoying intended for Dietrich Jells. Incomplete, knocked down by Terry Fair. But Dietrich Jells, the fastest guy on this Eagles team, they wanted to stretch the defense with him. They do it there, even though they don't get the completion.
Yeah, and I think you have to take your shots. They did against Dallas on Monday night. Bobby Hoying here, good play action. Go for max protection here. Both backs stay in. One-on-one with Fair, who has a lot of speed, and Bobby Hoying underthrew that football. I mean, Dietrich Jells had him by a step. Mark Carrier was coming over the top. Hoying needed to put a little bit more arm, a little more oomph into that ball.
Well, this best starting field position for either team from the 42-yard line on 2nd down for the Eagles. Charlie Garner. Garner across midfield into the open field. Runs out of room at the 19-yard line, pushed out by Bryant Westbrook, but another big play by the Eagles. 40 yards on the run for Garner.
And that's the Charlie Garner that I've been watching for the last 4 years in Philadelphia. We haven't seen that from him this year, right behind Jermaine Mayberry and Trey Thomas. The good cut once he got through the line. I used to say Charlie was like smoke through a keyhole. And now the race is on and pushed out of bounds by the safety, Ron Rice. But that's what they were hoping to get from Charlie this year when they felt confident about letting Ricky Waters go to Seattle.
Deuce Staley in to give him a breather right now on 1st down from the 18. Pitch to Staley. The Staley across the 10-yard line all the way down to the 5. Terry Fair and Rob Fredrickson get him. Well, that's the 12th carry so far in this game by an Eagle running back. They only had 12 on Monday night for the whole game against Dallas.
Well, the key was they fell behind Dallas 17-0 early. Look at the left side of the line here. Mayberry and Thomas getting it done, just straight zone blocking right at the point. Look at Steve Everett over there pushing it on. The undersized Detroit defensive line over there with Waldrop and Owens getting mashed by Mayberry and Thomas.
First and goal from the 5. Garner stood up after a short gain by Stephen Boyd.
Now, this is what Ray Rhodes was hoping would happen. And, you know, and when you're 1-7, you hope a lot because you don't see results on Sunday. And what they've been hoping for this year is to get an explosive Charlie Garner, rotate him with Deuce Staley, and get a big offensive line, hat on hat, mashing bodies. It's working right now. Today already, over 100 yards early in the second quarter.
Second and goal from the 3. Garner again. Still fighting his way. Touchdown! Philadelphia Eagles.
See that? Charlie Garner's 4th touchdown of the season. And one thing about Charlie, he's always been a big man in a small body. You know, runs tough now. This was all effort to get that ball over the goal line.
Chris Boniol on to attempt the extra point. And he gets it. So something to electrify this crowd in Philadelphia. Charlie Garner with a great second effort, a 3-yard touchdown run, and the Eagles have a 7-0 lead. Yards, 1 for 101 yards, both for touchdowns, 62 on that one.
Yeah, the first return man to return 2 for touchdown in his first 4 games. And that got started by a poor kickoff by Chris Boniol, because there was no Eagles that were around him when he caught that ball.
So the Lions begin from their 28-yard line of Philadelphia. Barry Sanders can't find any running room. He's going to lose 3 yards on that play. Mike Caldwell pushes him out of bounds.
Now, you know, one thing I said about stopping Barry Sanders is you got to make Barry run. You have to make him run lateral. But then you have to stay home on the backside because he might come back to you. So you really got to be patient, and you have to be aggressive at the same time.
Despite losing yards on that play, though, Barry still moves into 4th place all-time with all-purpose yards today.
Yeah, some good company here. Herschel Walker spent a good deal of time here in Philadelphia. Was a crowd favorite, returning kickoffs and running and catching the ball.
Second down from the 30. Bass. Vardell can't hold on. Incomplete. Tommy Vardell doesn't have the hands for that one.
You know, Curt, it's kind of mysterious now. I mean, nothing against Tommy Vardell, but when you got Herman Moore and Barry Sanders and Morton, why do you want to keep throwing the screen passes here to Vardell? You know, put the ball in Barry Sanders' hand in that situation and let him go do a dance.
Well, you talk about Moore. They threw to him on the first play of the game, and since then have done absolutely nothing in his direction. Third down. They need to get to the 18 for the first. Bats. To Moore. Herman Moore gets it out the 23-yard line, but Al Harris all over him as soon as he caught it. Not good enough for the first down. 7 yards on the play, but they look Moore's way at least this time.
Yeah, here's Bobby Taylor. Deep now. He knows this is the first down. Anything in front of here, he's doing his job. So he's going to give Herman Moore the 10-yard slant. Just make sure he makes the open field tackle. And that's how people are playing Herman Moore now. A guy that's averaged over 14 yards a catch against man-to-man press coverage now only averages 10 yards a reception against soft coverage.
Jason Hanson on to attempt a 41-yard field goal. High snap. But John Jett gets it down, and Jason Hanson gets it through. Hanson hasn't missed a field goal from under 49 yards since 1996, and that one cuts the deficit down to 4. 7-yard field goal by Jason Hansen cuts the deficit down to 7-3 here in Philadelphia.
And all you have to know about the Lions and how they struggled this year, Jason Hansen was the most valuable player in last week's loss. 3 field goals. Moore, Sanders, Batch not getting it done last week.
And this is going to be a short kick taken by Alan Rossum. Rossum out to about the 27-yard line. Corey Schlesinger with the tackle. Nice 12-yard return there on the short kick.
And the Eagles are getting pretty decent field position. For last Monday night against Dallas, like I said, 7 special team penalties. The offense was always starting at around their 10-yard line. And when you come out on the field and you see 90 yards of green in front of you, and you know your offense is struggling, it doesn't give you a lot of confidence.
They're starting from the 28 this time, and they start with 3 receivers in the game. Boy, quick pass to Jeff Graham. Graham's 3rd catch of the afternoon. Going to pick up 7 on that one. Jeff Graham has become a weapon for them this afternoon.
Yeah, and we'll take a look here at Trey Thomas against Kerwin Waldrop here at the left tackle position. Boeing throws this ball right between the gap that Thomas creates. And perfect position right there. Boeing very comfortable and confident to be able to step up, deliver that ball on timing.
Brings up 2nd and short. Boeing to Deuce Staley out of the backfield. 1st down yardage and then some more. To the 46-yard line, Stephen Boyd with the tackle, the 11-yard pickup on the swing pass to Staley.
Bobby Hoying completing 7 of his first 10 passes today, Curt. And Ray Rose said, you know what? We know he's struggling, but we've seen a glimpse last year when he won 2 out of his first 3 games. 2-0-1, his first 3 starts last year, and he was spraying the ball around, and he looked like a kid that could be the future here at quarterback. Hasn't looked like that in the first 8 games this year.
Ball on the 46. Staley across midfield. Good enough for the 1st down, all the way down to the 39-yard line. Ron Rice with the tackle after a 14-yard pickup.
Yeah, and again, running right behind the big left side of Trey Thomas, the rookie, who's a phenom now. I mean, the entire league is listening to Trey Thomas now. He bench presses 550 pounds, and he ties up Waldrop there. And this is a matchup that the Eagles can win today. And you have to exploit it. And you don't shut it down until they start walking the safety, Mark Carrier or Ron Rice, right up in that hole to stop it.
1st down from the 40. Eagles able to run the ball at will today, seemed like, and Staley gets another carry. This time picks up 2, maybe 3 before Alan Aldridge gets it. But it's interesting that they choose to really go after them with the run, considering how good the Lions have been against the run all season long.
You see Trey Thomas here on the back side of this play now. I mean, this is 6'7". This is the biggest tackle in football. He's sealing the backside. The big paw over here, knocking Luther Ellis over, and now sealing the backside with Waldrop in case Deuce Staley cuts that play back. He's got a good hole created by Thomas.
2nd and 8. Boyd going deep. A pass intended for Russell Copeland, but can't haul it in. Brian Westbrook and Ron Rice on the coverage. Rice a little slow to get up.
Ron Rice, just a rookie free agent in 1995, established himself at that safety position. You see Bobby is looking right the whole way. See that pump really didn't do anything. All that did was bring the safety over here, Rice. Brian Westbrook, a good job of finishing that play, taking the ball out of Copeland's hands and making sure it gets to the ground.
3rd down for the Eagles. They need to get the ball to the Detroit 30-yard line for the 1st. Boyd runs out of room, brought down for the sack. Dan Owens, the 2nd sack of the afternoon for the Lions defense.
This is a pretty good coverage sack, but Bobby Hoying's got to feel that. He's an athlete now. He steps up into the pocket, but now take off. I mean, it's just a 4-man rush, no blitz. They run a little game, and Dan Owens comes off the game between Mayberry and Thomas for the play, but that's a chance there for Hoying to step up and make a play using his athletic ability, using his feet.
Tom Hutton on the punt. Terry Fair back to receive. That one goes into the end zone for the touchback. 42-yard punt. The Lions will take things over from their own 20-yard line when we come back. Brian came into this one as two teams that are struggling, but right now it's only the Lions offense that's struggling. It seems as though the Eagles are able to move the ball today.
Yeah, the Eagles are doing a good job of stopping Barry Sanders and yet not giving Charlie Batch anything downfield right now.
He's got it 1st and 10 from the 20. Sanders with the handoff. Stopped in the backfield, brought down quickly by Greg Jefferson. Loss of 2.
You see Greg Jefferson from his left end position going up against Larry Tharp. And here's Jefferson right here. He's just going to beat Tharp right to his outside and get pressure. That's a good job by Jefferson playing off Tharp and getting into the backfield and making that hit on Barry Sanders. I mean, that's all Jefferson. There's no help there. There's nobody that slowed Barry up. That was a good fundamental play by Jefferson.
Jermaine Crowell comes in at the bottom of your screen as the 3rd receiver for the Lions. Batch goes the other way. Intended for Johnny Morton, but it's incomplete. Thrown too low. Morton was open on that one.
Yeah, Morton was open, and Charlie Batch isn't sharp. Now, he was benched last week at halftime for throwing 3 interceptions in the first half. You know, and the entire organization now wants to see how Charlie responds. Well, we talked about this earlier this week, Curt. You know, this is a team that plays in a dome. They go to Minnesota and they play in a dome. And, you know, there's that old phrase in this league, the dome babies. And I don't know, they get outside in this cold air and things look different. And, you know, this Lions team came here for the playoffs in '95, and Scott Mitchell was awful here in Philadelphia.
On 3rd down, they need to get all the way out to the 30-yard line for the first. He dumps it to Barry Sanders. There's Barry. Out to the 25-yard line, flags are down. 7 yards on the pass play, but let's see what the flags are. And it's going to be holding against the Lions.
Yeah, they'll decline that penalty.
Holding. Offense, number 44. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Tommy Vardell, the fullback, call for holding.
Yeah, when the Eagles get the Lions into 3rd and 12 situations, they're playing their game now. You're going to see a good play here by Brandon Whiting right here. Number 98 is going to force Barry Sanders to come back inside. See that? And here's Vardell right here on Troy Vincent, trying to get a block downfield. Held on a little too long against Vincent, and it got seen by the umpire.
So John Jett on the punt again. Allen Rawson deep to receive for the Eagles at the 26. Tripped up, gets it out to the 34-yard line. Brian Stabline brings him down. Later today, Michelle Kwan, Todd Eldridge, and some of the world's best skaters meet in the culmination of Skating Eagles defense to start stopping the run of Philadelphia right now. Lions 6th in the league in rushing defense, only giving up 90 a game coming into today, but they're already well over 120 are the Eagles. They run it again, New Staley with room across the 40, across midfield. Inside the 30-yard line, flags are down. Mark Carrier pushes him out of bounds. Well, there's a flag way back at the 36-yard line.
And they're going to call this on Kevin Turner. And I don't think it's going to be a very good call. Yeah, Turner's not going to be happy with this. And I think when we take a look at it, it's going to be a real judgment call. As Deuce Staley, it was through the hole, well after any infraction by Turner.
Holding. Offense, number 87, 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down, 1st down.
And that's going to negate a 38-yard pickup by Staley.
No, they got Jason Dunn on this. And here's Dunn right here. He's on the outside now against Robert Porcher.
After the 10-yard penalties, 1st and 20.
Right there, that hand is what they saw. I saw this here. And I think Kevin Turner thought it was on him too, the way he was looking at it and shaking his head.
After the penalty on Dunn, it's 1st and 20 now from the 24. Hoy. Quick pass out to Irving Fryer. Fryer gets it out to the 34-yard line, a pickup of 7. Or make it 10, excuse me.
Again, the Eagles have been working on Bryant Westbrook right here. A lot of room right here that Westbrook is giving Fryer. Now, first and 20, you give that kind of room. But it's good to see Bobby Hoying and Irving Fryer just hooking up, just playing pitch and catch, because you've been watching Bobby Hoying in his time this year. Those have been difficult throws for him. Fryer in his 15th season, the #1 pick in the National Football League, 1984 out of Nebraska with the New England Patriots, still going strong.
3 receivers in on 2nd and long. Quick pass, Russell Copeland. Copeland gets it out beyond the 40-yard line, a gain of 9. Terry Fair with the tackle.
And these corners are giving these Eagles receivers a lot of space and a lot of room, and I don't understand it. Because this passing offense has been the worst in the league. Now look at this. I mean, this is not the Green Bay Packers or San Francisco 49ers. Now, this has been the Eagles, the worst offense in the league, and I think you should challenge Bobby Hoying and challenge these receivers.
The Eagles now with 5 wide receivers in the game, no one in the backfield, and Hoying decides to call a timeout.
Timeout, Philadelphia. Their second timeout. This is a 30-second timeout.
Hoying talking things over with Ray Rhodes, the head coach. That's Bill Musgrave who's calling the offensive plays now.
Yeah, Bill Musgrave on August 24th was cut by the Indianapolis Colts. And Ray Rhodes gave him a call and said, would you like to get into coaching? Now, he coached the quarterbacks for the Oakland Raiders last year. And he said, we need somebody to come in here and just take a look at our offense, run by new offense coordinator Dana Bible, who came from Stanford, replacing John Gruden. So he came here, he said, I'd love to get back into coaching, Ray. I'd love to still play, but if I can't, I'd love to work for you. So he came in here to break down film. Well, while he was breaking down film, he made some suggestions about some offensive play calling. So it went from breaking down film to making some suggestions. Now he's wearing the headset. Bill Musgrave is calling the plays. Dana Bible's up in the box now, looking down, and Musgrave is calling the shots.
They come out with a different offense, 3 receivers, and Deuce Staley gets the handoff. Staley going to be close to the first down marker. Let's see where they spot it. Ron Rice with the tackle, but nice second effort there by Staley to try and get that first down on 3rd and short.
Well, we saw a great effort by Charlie Garner to get the ball in the end zone, another touchdown. And now a great effort by Deuce Staley. And what Ray Rhodes wants to see, what he thinks he has seen from this team, even though they've struggled at 1-7, is he thinks he's seen great effort. He doesn't think his eyes are fooling him. And he hasn't been in the league that long that he can't see effort. You know, their problems have come from execution and from stupid play.
They get the first down at the 45. Handoff to Staley. Keeps those feet churning, doesn't get far, maybe 1 yard before Robert Porcher pulls him down.
Yeah, Luther Ellis lost his helmet. Can get like that in there too. You know, her body's just smashing there, and Deuce Staley running up against the wall, just trying to keep his legs and those pistons moving.
Staley and Garner, that 1-2 combo at running back, working today like they expected them. 124 yards rushing. We're not even at halftime yet.
Well, this is what they expected when they started the season. A 1-2 punch, rotate the guys, 15 carries apiece. They thought they could get it done.
Dumps it off to Staley. Staley brought down at the line of scrimmage by Alan Aldridge. No gain. He's going to bring up 3rd and 9. All of a sudden, the offense getting a little conservative last 2 plays, but the same plays, they're just not working like they did before.
True, but the other thing is they're keeping Barry Sanders off the field by running the football, and they're controlling the clock. And we're coming down here to the final 2 minutes of the first half, and this is a critical 3rd down for Hoying. Protection is going to be paramount, and then to find the open receiver and deliver the ball, this would be big for his confidence.
They need to get the ball across the Lions' 45-yard line for the first. Hoying runs out of time again, loses the ball. Recovers it, though. It's going to be a sack. Credit Robert Porcher with a sack and a fumble. Hoying recovers it, but it sets up another punting situation, and the Lions will get the ball back one more time here.
We're going to see the nickelback, Kevin Abrams, coming in over here. Now he gets picked up by Kevin Turner right there on the outside. But see Bobby's head? It's down. It's down. He's not looking up. He was able to step up into that pocket if he had a little more poise and control and be able to find an open space and then look down the field. But when your head is down, you're looking down at the ground, that's when bad things happen.
And the Eagles are going to let the 2-minute warning come up before they decide to punt this one
This
away.
is a 2-minute warning.
When we come back, the Eagles punt. 2 minutes left to go here in the first half.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Miller Lite, an official sponsor of the NFL and Super Bowl 33.
Tommy Hutton's punt. Terry Fair takes it at the 16. Runs into one of his own men, Pete Kriplevich. He can't officially get the tackle since he's on his team, but it's a 44-yard punt, 8-yard return, and Barry Sanders has been spending more time on the sideline than he has on the field so far in this game.
This is huge. This is a big part of the game plan for the Eagles today. Control the clock, and they've been able to do that by running the football.
There's a flag down on the play right now. That's what they're waiting for.
You know, and when you have the ball for only 9 minutes, you don't get a chance to touch the ball very much.
On the offense, downfield prior to the kick. Penalty is declined. First down, Detroit.
That's Jeremiah Trotter for the Eagles. So they decline it, and the Lions will take over 1st and 10 from the 22, hoping that maybe Barry can break a big one here before halftime.
You see, you know, 59 yards total offense, but only 6 rushes so far for 28 yards, 28 to 59 yards running the football. We say at the top, he needs the ball 25 or 30 times a game.
And they've got 3 receivers in on this play. And they get it complete. That's Jermaine Crowell with the reception. Pickup of 4. And the clock keeps going. Let me ask you this, Brian. In a situation like this, normally you wouldn't run the ball. With a guy who can break a play like Barry Sanders, would you in the 2-minute drill here?
Yeah, because, you know, the defense right now is playing a very prevent-style defense where they have a lot of nickel backs in it. You know, and you get him into the secondary, you know, he can break one. But that's Hugh Douglas there. Hugh Douglas coming around the corner against Ray Roberts and beat him clean. And that's Hugh's 9.5 sack of the season this year, Curt. Having a very good season, almost as many sacks as he had when he was the Jets' #1 pick in the AFC Rookie of the Year in 1995.
He was the Defensive Player of the Month in the NFC last month. 7 sacks in the 4 games during the month of October. Off to a good start here in November. 3rd and 14. They need to get it to the 32-yard line and just over the 32-yard line marker. They hand it off to Barry. Barry only gets it out to the 24-yard line, a gain of 6. Bobby Taylor brings him down.
That's a great series by the Eagles defense. And they have played well
Timeout,
in spots this
Philadelphia. Their 3rd and final timeout. This is a 30-second timeout.
So with the game clock at 47 seconds, the Eagles call a timeout to try and get the ball back. The Lions run off what? They got the ball with 2 minutes left. They run off 1 minute and 13 seconds there on that drive.
Can get into games, take it into the 4th quarter. I can start doing some of my things, blitz and play back and play some pass coverage where I'm very effective.
John Jett on to punt it to Allen Rossum. Rossum calls for the fair catch at the 34-yard line. Eagles take over from there. Coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, Joe and Ron will have scores and highlights from around the league, and our Fox Sports ticker will have up to the second stats, and it's all coming your way on the Visa Halftime Report. 42 yards on the punt by John Jett.
A couple things here today. We didn't expect a big offensive explosion here today, Curt. We're not getting it. But a couple things about the Eagles. They've taken care of the football. They haven't really hurt themselves right now, and they're running the football, controlling the clock. You know, and for a team that's struggling, that's a nice game plan. You know, and they're executing it well right now.
40 seconds to go in the half. 3 receivers in the game for Philly. Under pressure, Robert Porcher brings him down. Hoying got rid of the ball. They call it an incompletion, but the question is, was he outside that tight end box to let intentional grounding not be called? And Hoying is slow getting up.
Well, what happened was Detroit went to a 3-man front, and they took their best pass rusher right here, Robert Porcher. He beats Trey Thomas around the corner. Now Hoying hangs on to this ball a long time, and he falls right on that right shoulder. A hard fall from Porcher.
Hoying is still down. Of course, Rodney Peete hurt in the Monday night game, not even dressed today. Coy Detmer is the backup quarterback right now. Had a little mop-up duty against the Denver Broncos earlier this year, 3 for 9 in the passing department, but that's all he's played. And other than that, They've got Chuck Clements, who they just signed to the practice squad after Pete got hurt on Monday night, so not a lot of depth at quarterback for them right now.
Yeah, and they went into that game realizing that.
By rule, there is no 10-second runoff because the clock was stopped for the sack.
So the Eagles basically avoid a penalty there, which they would have had because of the injury.
Well, I wouldn't expect the Eagles to do anything but hand off right here and go in and examine Bobby Hoying at halftime.
Detmer, quarterback, hands it off to Staley. Deuce Staley beyond the 30-yard line. Rob Fredrickson brings him down 8 yards on the pickup.
Well, one thing about Coy Detmer, his brother was here, Ty Detmer, for a couple years.
That's right. Their first timeout.
Out in San Francisco now.
This is a 30-second timeout.
He's the son of a high school football coach, Sonny Detmer, down in San Antonio.
Every year they've started the season with a different quarterback, and right now Detmer is their third quarterback of the season. The other two change back and forth because of injuries and ineptitude. This is Deuce Staley, and that's going to run the clock down to 8 seconds. The Lions call their second timeout.
This is a 30-second timeout.
You know, Coy Detmer made the team last year. You know, he was inactive every game, but he said, I want the team to gain confidence in me this year, and I don't want them to be scared to death to put me in the game.
Terry Fair, who's already had a 62-yard kickoff return in this game, deep to receive. Another short kick, taken at the 10. Fair, hog tie. This time Anthony Marshall brings him down, returns it only 15 yards, so the Eagles more than happy with that.
See, that's Anthony Marshall now. He was ridiculed strongly in Philadelphia this past week because he was guilty of 3 special teams infractions. And people were calling for Anthony Marshall's head on a platter during the week, but Ray Rhodes said, you know what? The kid played better than anybody out there in the special teams outside of the mistakes. And the mistakes were just effort, just trying to finish plays, but the kid has helped out here. They pulled him off the street. He's been a good player.
Barry Sanders with some running room out to the 30-yard line, close to the first down marker. Michael Zordich, the 12-year veteran, brings him down.
Detroit came out in the first quarter throwing the football because Mike Zordich was walked up there as an 8-man. And so they went to throwing the football. And I think Barry just said, listen, 7 carries in the first half, that's not enough. Just feed me the ball. I don't care how many guys they put up there. I'm going to break tackles. I'll get it done.
Well, he took it 10 yards there. That's only the Lions' second first down of this ball game. Barry, this time, not even close. William Thomas brings him down after a pickup of 2, maybe 3.
The one thing about Barry Sanders, in talking to Bobby Ross, is this is a guy that career has averaged 4.8 yards a carry, almost 5 yards. He said he has to average that much because Barry will settle for a -2, a -3, no gain to set up the big run. You know, and if you just keep feeding him, he feels like he's going to break one.
And he usually does. Gets another chance here. Stopped in the backfield. That's Hollis Thomas.
One thing about this Eagles defense now, and the fact that Detroit didn't convert third downs and only had 1 first down in the first half, they weren't on the field very long. And they're not used to that. You're used to being out on the field in tough situations, bad field position, and a lot of plays. And they should be very fresh here today for the second half.
So on third down, Lions need to get to the 45-yard line for the first. 3 receivers in the game for Detroit. Bats to no one. Johnny Morton, the nearest receiver there, but that ball clearly overthrown over him by about 10 yards.
Now, Charlie Batch got pulled at halftime last week by Bobby Ross, and Frank Reich went in there. And right now, Batch has struggled. Now, he threw 3 interceptions in the first half last week and lost a fumble. Talking offensive coordinator Jimmy Zorn there. And that's what led to him being benched in the second half. But today, he's just throwing the ball poorly.
John Jett on the punt to Allen Rossum. It's high. Rossum going to call for the fair catch. Takes it at the 19-yard line. So that's where the Eagles will begin their second possession, or their first possession of the game after a 43-yard punt, leading it 7-3. Boyd is back in the game at quarterback. Charlie Garner slips the tackle, Out across the 40-yard line, Mark Carrier with the tackle, but a 13-yard pickup by Garner, who's picking up right where he left off in the first half.
And he started again to the left side, right behind Everett and Mayberry. And then he see, and all great running backs have vision. He's going to come right in here, and he's going to see something back here, an opening, and he's going to take it back behind right guard Ian Beckles. So now Charlie making full speed cuts. Now, he saw something out to the outside, and if he would have taken it out there, I think he'd still be running.
Once again, brought down by Kerwin Waldrop this time. Pickup of 3. Garner with 87 yards rushing in this game already.
Well, Jermaine Mayberry and Trey Thomas, almost 700 pounds of beef right here. Going against Waldrop here, and you got Fredrickson on the outside. These are matchups they can win. Mayberry right here getting a good mash, taking Danny Owens right out of the play.
Brings up 2nd and 7 from the 36. Hoying under pressure, throws it incomplete. He's throwing outside. Dunn came inside, and Robert Bourget had the heat on him. Hoying a little slow getting up there too. Might he still be feeling the hit in the first half?
Yeah, I'm sure he is. But when you're 1-7 and you've struggled at quarterback, you're the leader. And those eyes right there, when the players are looking at him, they want to see a confident guy. They want to see a guy that can get up off the ground, take that hit right there, get back in the huddle, and tell him what we're doing on 3rd down. Nah, it's not easy, and those ribs hurt. And he probably can't breathe too well right now. But you got to be the leader.
3rd down. They need to get to the 43 for the first. Hoying under pressure again, loses the football. Still loose. Let's see who recovers it. Kerwin Waldrop had the pressure on him.
Yeah, I tell you what, whoever comes up with this ball for the Eagles, that's Richard Cooper right there. Yeah, that's Ian Beckles, the right guard. And offensive linemen, they don't really know how to fall on fumbles. They just hope that their body covers it. But watch what Bobby Hoying does now as he steps up into the pocket. Watch his head go down right here. When that head goes down, you can't see. He runs right into his own man, Ian Beckles. From the backside, Waldrop knocks that ball loose. Now, great hustle by Beckles to get the ball back.
Tommy Hutton, 7th punt of the game. Terry Fair takes it. From the 17, falls down at the 18. Credit Jeremiah Trotter with the tackle, a 50-yard punt, 2-yard return. So the Eagles defense comes back on the field, leading 9 Pacific on Fox. Check your local listings for the time in your area. First down from the 19 for Detroit. Batch gets it out, caught by Johnny Morton. Nice grab, but that ball thrown low as well. Batch really struggling so far this afternoon.
Yeah, a lot of room on the outside with Morton, but Charlie not throwing the ball like he had the first 6 weeks, first 6 games of his career.
They pick up 8 on the play, brings up 2nd and 2. He's completed 1 pass to Johnny Morton and 1 pass to Herman Moore, both his wide receivers. This time it's Barry Sanders. Sanders out, pushed out of bounds by Troy Vincent. So on a day when his receivers aren't getting much, Barry's trying to take up the slack, picks up 13 there. And
one of the reasons why they did is the Eagles have been playing 8 men up. Mike Zordich has been playing up along the line of scrimmage. But right here you see 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders, only 7 right here in the box, allowing Barry to come back here with plenty of room now, throwing that seam thrown between right guard Semple and Larry Tharp, the right tackle.
First down from the 40. Play action. Batch intended for Corey Schlesinger, but nice hand up there by Mike Caldwell, who we mentioned at the start of the game, starting this week because of the injury to James Darling, playing well in pass coverage there for a linebacker.
Yeah, and Mike Caldwell's an athletic guy. He was a backup last year in Arizona, but he got 9 starts with the Baltimore Ravens in '96, and he considers himself a starter. Now he's running on the outside, with a receiver, and
it's Corey Schlesinger.
Yeah, Corey Schlesinger right there, the fullback. He's got him one-on-one out of the backfield. Great effort of turning the head around and getting the hand up at the same time.
Barry Sanders on 2nd down. Makes those moves. Gets it out to the 45-yard line, a pickup of 5 before Michael Zordich brings him down.
Now you see Mike Caldwell now. He was in pass coverage last play. Now watch him right here. Take on the lead guard right here, Mike Compton, and bury himself, forcing Barry to have to bounce to the outside. See, boom. Take on the lead guard, make Barry run to the outside. Now this is all Barry. I mean, he's grabbing Mike Zordich there for 5. But good job by Caldwell.
3rd down and 5. They need to get it to the 50-yard line for first. Batch dumps it off to Schlesinger. Schlesinger gets the first down. Man, is he hit. William Thomas lays the wood on him, but Schlesinger gets the first down. 6 yards on the carry. On the pass.
Wow. Willie T now, he said, yeah, this has been tough on everybody this year. You know, the worst year of his entire 8-year career. You know, dealing with this losing. But here's Willie T right now. He's going to have Schlesinger over here one-on-one. It's coming a long way. Boom. That little high-low there with Bobby Taylor.
Barry Sanders. There he goes the other way. Charlie Batch out to block for him. The quarterback lays a nice block out for him. Brian Dawkins finally pulls him down, but Barry 26 yards on that run. Typical Barry Sanders.
Yeah, well, he'll give up the -2, the -3 for the chance for the big play. Now, I said you do 2 things to Barry. You string him out laterally right here, but these backside has got to stay home and stay disciplined because you never know when he's going to come back to you. Now, Barry takes it to the right. Now, watch everybody get sucked in over here. Now it looks like a punt return. He's got a wall set up. And, the Eagles, do a decent job of coming back and bringing him down, but that's Barry Sanders.
Well, the great thing was the block by quarterback Charlie Batch on that one. 1st and 10, number 33. Play action. Batch going deep, intended for Johnny Morton. Does a little pushing and shoving between he and Troy Vincent. Pass falls incomplete, no flags down anywhere.
Now, the way the Eagles like to work their coverage is they think they have 2 really strong cornerbacks in Bobby Taylor and Troy Vincent. They put Bobby Taylor on Herman Moore, the most dangerous wide receiver. They put Troy Vincent on Johnny Morton. They say, Troy, he's all yours. You get no help. And again, you see Troy running. Nice little left arm there, knocking Morton off that ball. But you see, when you're a veteran, you've been around like Troy, you know those little tricks. You just hope you get away with it.
2nd down from the 33. Batch dumps it off to Varnell. Tommy Varnell. There's some hitting going on out there on that field. James Willis gets it. Herman Moore still not in the offense, though. They threw the first pass to him, incomplete, threw one other completion, but so far that's it.
Well, first of all, you see the double coverage. You see Zordich behind him. You see Taylor in front. You've got to throw that ball to Herman Moore, even if he's covered, if he's double covered. Because what Herman Moore has made a career out of in this league is winning jump balls. And if he doesn't get the ball, the defenders don't get it. You still have to throw it to Herman Moore, even when he's well covered.
And the Eagle crowd trying to help out on 3rd down and 7. Batch just dumps it. Incomplete. Now they're discussing whether or not it's intentional grounding. Tim McTire was putting pressure on him. Well, no flags are down, so obviously he got outside the tight end box, but on 3rd and 7, didn't even try and make a play there.
No, he never looked down the field, and Herman Moore was one-on-one with Bobby Taylor against press coverage, the type of opportunities Herman Moore loves. And he's talking to himself now. Now he's upset with it. Now here's Al Harris now. Picked up from the Tampa Bay Bucks. Now this is the situation. Herman Moore is used to having a jump ball thrown to him. Put it up there, let me jump over Al Harris.
48-yard field goal attempt by Jason Hanson. It's good. So a 41-yarder by Hanson and now a 48-yarder. The only scoring for the Lions so far. They still trail it by 1.
Defense coordinator Sylvester Cruz said, we've got to make a better effort to get Herman Moore the ball, especially down the field.
And the ball falls off the tee right before Jason Hanson kicks it off. So they'll reset it and try it again. But you're talking about the frustration with Moore.
Yeah, well, the thing is that this has been the most prolific receiver in the NFL the last 3 seasons. 31 touchdown passes the last 3 years, and he's used to getting the ball in tough spots. I mean, here's the guy, that's not afraid to go run into traffic and go after the football, to play hurt. Everything you want from a #1 receiver, he's done here. He's played with the bad ribs, with the bad ankle. He'll go up in traffic. You know, and a lot of guys won't do that. Herman does that. Plus, he comes out to practices and works. All he wants is a little bit of reward to throw the ball to him in the game.
So Hansen gets this one off. Line drive, taken by Rawson, and Allen Rawson brings it out of the end zone. Gets out across the 20-yard line all the way out to the 23 before being brought down by Ryan Stewart. Eagles take over, leading it by 1. The 23-yard line, leading at 7-6. Curt Menefee, Brian Baldinger, we're here with you in Philadelphia. Hoying out to Graham. Graham has been his primary receiver today. Pushed out of bounds, a little extra shove there by Ron Rice, and the crowd not too happy about that here. The 4th catch so far this afternoon by Jeff Graham, who missed the Monday night game with a hamstring injury, and there is a flag down. It's going to be called against the Eagles.
Yeah, the back judge threw it from about 30 yards away. Richard Reels.
Pass interference. Offense, number 87. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. First down.
Jason Dunn has hurt this team today. Pushing off downfield.
That's a second big penalty against him. One negated a nice 28-yard play before, and this one negates the gain here.
Well, Jason Dunn has been a mysterious guy here in Philadelphia. I mean, a rookie year 2 years ago, I mean, had a great season, showed a lot of promise, and last year couldn't get himself on the field. You know, some personal problems, he just couldn't get things straightened out, and he's struggling.
Hoying. Incomplete, intended for Irving Fryer, but nice coverage by Brian Westbrook, the second-year man out of Texas.
Yeah, and Westbrook is starting to read these things a little bit quicker now. Now, Hoying did float that ball. It was a long out, but Westbrook read that well. We're going to see here again, one-on-one with Westbrook. Now, Westbrook is going to see Irving make this cut, and he's going to react to it, and the ball's a little soft. Brian Westbrook, a #1 pick last year, a physical corner, already 3 interceptions this season. Going to be a mainstay there at the corner for a long time here in Detroit.
On second down, the end around, once again, Charlie Garner. Garner picks up 5 on the play before being brought down by Kerwin Waldrop. Back into that bag of tricks go the Eagles, right?
Yeah, well, Musgrave is now calling the plays here, and the offense has changed. And he wants to stretch the field with some long passes. You see a lot of empty backfield formations, meaning there's no running back in the backfield, 5 receivers out. And then you also see the reverses, and you see Bobby Hoying, on a moving pocket. So things have changed since he took over.
On third down, the Eagles need to get to the 33. Hoying dumps it off to Garner. Garner into the open field. Going to be brought down a couple yards short of the first. There's a flag down on the play as well. It's going to be that hands to the face once again.
That's just careless. Careless because I'll tell you why. It's a screen. And you want to invite the defensive lineman up the field. You want them to rush the passer and get them out of the play.
Dick Hantak, our referee.
I never liked that call, the hands to the face, because guys are trying to get the jerseys. They're not trying to punch the face.
Illegal hands to the face. Offense, number 72. Penalized half the distance to the goal line. Repeat the down. Third down.
And that's on Trey Thomas, the rookie we were talking about, has been having such a good game up until then.
Well, Trey Thomas is massive. I mean, when you see the guy, not only is he 6'7", 350, but he's wide and he's thick. Here he is right here against Waldrop. You're going to see his right hand now slip. See, that's the hand right there. Now, it's unnecessary. It's silly. The ball's already gone. It's a screen pass. He's protecting the backside.
And that's Deuce Staley, gets it on third and 24. Brought down by Stephen Boyd. The crowd here doesn't like that play.
No, and the crowd has seen bad play. And what's happened is now the Eagles, because of the 2 penalties back-to-back, Detroit's going to get good field position. Now, Deuce Staley, this is just a quick draw. But Tremaine Mayberry, looking around in the backfield, he's got to be looking at Stephen Boyd, who made that play.
Terry Fair back to take the Tommy Hunt punt. Takes it at the 42-yard line, dances around. Hog-tied and pulled out of bounds by Mike Caldwell. 48 yards on the punt by Hutton, 7 yards on the return by Fair. The Lions will take it over when we come back.
Been struggling. I got to work on things like my blocking, but he's a receiver. He's a #1 receiver. He's got to have the attitude to be one.
First down from the 48, they go to the air. Batch pulled down for the sack, Mike Caldwell. The third sack of the game by the Eagles.
Yeah, Mike Caldwell coming off the strong side. Untouched. You see, oh, here's Caldwell right here. I mean, this is just a poor scheme on blocking right there because the fullbacks, Bardell, went out. See, and Charlie is looking the other way. Now, Bardell thinks it's a hot read. Here comes the blitz to throw the ball to me, but Charlie's looking the other way. You have a rookie quarterback here. Mistakes are being made. Can't tell if that's Charlie's fault. Caldwell will take the sack.
They lose 6 yards on the play, brings up 2nd and long. Handoff to Barry. Barry Sanders doesn't get much. Hugh Douglas brings him down, picks up 2 yards on the carry.
And I just watched Herman Moore in that play, and there was no effort downfield to get on Al Harris, the cornerback. In fact, he stopped about 5 yards downfield.
And there you see the first 4 games of the season, Herman Moore looked like Herman Moore, but since then, only 13 catches in the previous 4 games coming into today, only 1 catch in this game this afternoon for only 7 yards. 3rd down. They need to get all the way to the Philadelphia 42. Moore in motion. Batch goes the other way, complete. That pass caught by Johnny Morton, good enough for the 1st down. 15 yards on 3rd and 14, and the Lions get the 1st.
Got a flag down on this play here.
Late penalty flag down.
That's Brandon Whiting, the rookie right there, trying to get off the field, limping.
Holding. Offense, number 61. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. 3rd down.
So there you go. You pick up 15 yards on 3rd and 14. Comes right back because of a holding penalty.
And that's on Jimmy Pine here, the center, who's trying to replace Kevin Glover, an all-pro here in Detroit. And here's Pine. He's going up against Bill Johnson, number 94. See, and from the other side, they run a game. They cross the tackles, and here he is, tackling Brandon Whiting inside.
Brings up 3rd and 24, 3 receivers in the game. Batch under pressure. Gets out, avoids the sack, but doesn't get many yards before being brought down by Al Wallace. That Eagle defense bringing some heat, Brian.
Yeah, and Ray Rhodes, in his tenure here, has done a great job of bringing in guys off the street to come in and play roles. One of them is Al Wallace. Picked up last year. He's over the right tackle right now, Larry Tharp. And watch the run by 96. 96 is going to stay in your picture here, chasing down Charlie. And that's the effort that Ray Rhodes says, has been there this season. Unintelligent play has put them in this predicament of 1-7.
The 7th punt of the game for the Lions, and Freddie Solomon back to receive. Takes it at the 13. Gets about 11 yards on the return. 50-yard punt by John Jett. But the Eagles coming on offense mainly because their defense has played so well, especially on that last play.
Well, 3rd and long. Here's Hugh Douglas standing up, and over here is Al Wallace. A lot of heat off the edge. Right now, Batch is forced, out of the pocket. Now look at the hustle by Wallace. Here's a converted tight end, and he's showing tight end speed there, chasing down Batch. A hog tie right there. Looked like he could be in the rodeo. And it hasn't stopped running either. Good effort by Wallace. That's Mike Turgovac, the defensive line coach, applauding him. 1st
and 10 from the 24. Deuce Staley with the carry. Deuce gets it out to the 26, a pickup of 2. Kerwin Waldrop with the tackle.
The Eagles haven't done anything here in the 3rd quarter. And you feel like, Detroit just keeps pressuring him on defense, and eventually, Barry will explode. And Ray Rhodes right now upset because they haven't done anything coming out of the tunnel here for the 2nd half. Darius Holland right there. Played with the Green Bay Packers in each of the last 2 Super Bowls. Picked up here in Detroit, trying to add a little beef to that defensive line.
That's Staley deep in the eye behind Hoying. Gets the pitch. Jumps off his feet. Brian, usually when a running back leaps, he doesn't get much after that.
Yeah, it's never good. And right now the Eagles in a tough 3rd down situation. And Bobby hasn't been good looking down the field. And he needs to make this play now. Now the whole team is looking at him. You know, Deuce Staley's looking at Bobby here. Jeff Graham, Irving Fryer. This is his game. This is his team right now. It's going to be with the injury to Rodney Peete.
3rd and 6. Need to get it to the 39-yard line for the first. Hoy to Staley out of the backfield. Deuce Staley did not make it. Let's go to Los Angeles for an NFL update from Joe Buck. JB?
All right, Curt.
The big plays by that Viking offense is what has kept them going all season long. There have not been many of them here today, and that's why the 8th punt of the afternoon for Tommy Hutton. Terry Fair takes it to 25. He's made one of the few big plays with a kick return, but not on this one. Gets it out to the 35-yard line. We were talking about the Vikings, how their big play offense coming into the day, 7-1 with that one loss last week, but they don't seem to have missed much after that.
No, just one slip up against Tampa last week where Tampa really controlled the ball on the ground, kept Randall Cunningham and had firepower off the field. But big win last week against San Francisco. Green Bay right back in the middle of it. And this right here, you know, has got everybody irritated and frustrated in Detroit. That was a playoff team last year, and they thought with a couple of key additions, you know, of Alan Aldridge and Rod Fredrickson beefing up that linebacking core, that they were going to compete not only for the Central, but for a Super Bowl position.
Well, Terry Fair has made a difference on defense and in special teams. He goes off slowly as Detroit has the ball on offense right now. That's Barry Sanders. Breaks it outside. Sanders across midfield. Makes a move. Stays in bounds. Barry Sanders loses his shoe and loses just about the entire Eagle defense. James Willis finally getting credit for the tackle, but only after a 44-yard pickup.
Of the 3rd quarter.
Barry Sanders, 44 yards on the run. At the end of the 3rd quarter, though, the Eagles lead at 7-6. Fox NFL Sunday will.
But the middle linebacker, James Willis, has got to make this play. I mean, here's Willis right there, sucked in, number 50. And now the race is on. Get him to the sidelines. That's your friend here. But even Barry's shoes can't contain him. See that right there?
Barry deep in the eye right now, 2 yards shy of 1,000 for the season, but instead it's a pass play, incomplete, intended for Johnny Morton, double covered there by Michael Zordich and Troy Vincent. Barry Sanders came into this game 128 yards shy of 1,000 for the 10th straight year. No other back has done more than 8. He's 2 yards shy now.
Right now, down on the field for the Eagles, Troy Vincent. Making a play over the top of Johnny Morton right there. Got knocked from pain, but I'm sure that he had that electricity just running down his arm all the way to his fingertips.
The Lions take over, 2nd down from the 21-yard line. Barry Sanders. Run out of bounds at the 16. Mike Caldwell pushes him out. Gain of 4 officially.
You know, the thing
so Barry Sanders now over the 1,000-yard mark for the season with 1,002 after the 4-yard carry.
10th straight year here of 1,000 yards or more. It's just durable, dependable. Nobody else has ever done this in the history of the league. 10 straight 1,000-yard seasons. And he gets the corner. He has to slow down a bit.
He's the lone back on 3rd down. Quick pass to Herman Moore, and Moore juggling the ball. He got it. No, now one official said he had it. Another one came in and overruled him, said it was incomplete. It was still juggling it. Al Harris on the coverage, but Moore had the ball if he could have held on to it.
No, I think Herman Moore was just so surprised that Charlie threw him the football.
The player was battling the ball prior to getting 2 steps down before going out of bounds.
Giving him a lot of room here on the outside. Now this is just a quick out, a timing route. Herman, I mean, that ball was in the air before he could get a handle on it. Never had possession of the ball in both feet in bounds. Line judge making a call that he was. Back judge said he was out.
Jason Hansen on for a 35-yard field goal attempt. His 3rd of the afternoon. Automatic. Jason Hansen with another field goal gives the Lions their first lead of the game, 9-7 early in the 4th. The line judge called him in, and the back judge said no, he was out. And I think that's what upset both those guys as much as anything. Allen Rossum takes the kick at the 2-yard line. Got some running room. Across the 35, brought down by number 35, Robert Bailey. A 36-yard kickoff return. That's going to be the longest of the afternoon for Mr. Rawson. 9 Pacific on Fox. Check your local listings for the time in your area. Right now, the Eagles, 1st and 10 from the 37-yard line. Hoyt. Incomplete, intended for Jeff Graham. Flag is down. Terry Fair, the man on the coverage.
Well, Terry Fair is #1 pick out of Tennessee this year. And he beat out Kevin Abrams about the 3rd week of the season for that right corner position.
Defense number 23, 1st down.
And I like Terry Fair. I like his confidence and his poise back there, but he jumped Jeff Graham that play a little too early. It was a good call. And for the Eagles, that's only their 2nd first down here in the 2nd half. You know, only 27 total yards of offense in the 3rd quarter, and they got to start picking it up here.
For the first time this afternoon, they're trailing down by 2, but they've got a 1st down at their own 46. Hoyt dumps it off complete to Staley. And Deuce Staley into Lions territory all the way down to the 39. Mark Carrier with the tackle. The crowd chanting Deuce.
Yeah, the Philly fans, they're starved for a victory. They've seen one here this year against the Redskins. Not nearly enough for, you know, some fanatical people in the stands. One thing about Bobby Hoyt right there, he didn't drop his head under pressure. He kept his head up, he kept his eyes down the field, and was able to find Deuce Staley.
14-yard pickup to the Lions 40. Staley again. This time dances out to the 30 and a little bit more. Mark Carrier brings him down once again. There's that chant. Deuce, 12 yards this time.
Well, what's Detroit's done is they've backed off from their 8-man front, and they're playing just a base defense right now, 7 men up in the box. And Philadelphia's got a hat on everybody. You see right here, you got 2 linebackers right here, and here's the 3rd. This is 7 men. It's 7 on 7 up front. Philadelphia's just getting physical. Good combo block on the right side between Beckles and Cooper.
1st down from the 28 now. Irvin Fryer in motion. Staley with the handoff. Gets it down to the 23-yard line, a pickup of 5. Deuce Staley now with 89 yards in this game. Something a little freaky going on here maybe today at Veterans Stadium. Hey, don't forget though, all the freakiness happens tonight at 9 on Fox. It's the season premiere of the X-File. Agents Mulder and Scully return in an all-new episode. It all begins at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, right here on Fox. 2nd down and 5 now for the Eagles. Hoyt dumps it off to Staley, and Staley hit by Carrier and held on to. Right now out to Los Angeles, and Joe Buck for an NFL update.
All right, Curt, something freaky going on in Dallas, too. Aikman to Ernie Mills. Troy Aikman back in the lineup, has the cut on his right index finger. Look at this by Ernie. 7-yard reception to set up a touchdown throw to Eric Bjornsson. Cowboys up by 10 midway through the 4th. Back to Philadelphia, Curt and Brian.
Well, that Giants offense continuing to struggle today, and they're going to lose more ground, looks like, right now to the Dallas Cowboys in the standings. 3rd and 5. That's Charlie Garner. Does not get the 1st down. Dan Owens stands him up just beyond the line of scrimmage. I don't think the crowd's saying Deuce right now, are they?
No, those are real boos now, and the Philadelphia fans know how to do that. And that was us. That call couldn't have been any worse because they ran Charlie right into a blitz. A weak side linebacker, Rod Fredrickson, comes. You can see on the right side of your screen, number 53 will flash. They run right into that blitz. Danny Owens there and Stephen Boyd on the top. Poor design of a play on 3rd down.
So Chris Boniol on to attempt a 40-yard field goal. Right down the middle. Officially counts as a 39-yarder, but the Eagles don't care. It gives them the lead. 10-9, Philadelphia on top. 10-9, Boniol set to kick off. Terry Fair back to receive deep for the Lions. It's going to be a short kick. Fair takes it at the 11-yard line. Out to the 34-yard line, 23 yards on the return. Now, my partner, Brian Baldinger, you played ball here in Philadelphia. You still live in the Philadelphia area. You know all about these things. What is this?
This is Pat's cheesesteaks right here. The big wars here in Philadelphia for years. Pat's or Jim's. I'm a Pat's guy. You got to have grease in every meal. Nothing better than a cheesesteak.
It's the fifth food group, isn't it?
You know, it's a part of the staple of the diet. There's fruits, vegetables, and cheesesteaks right here in Philly.
Well, the problem is we were supposed to show you how to eat. Mine's complete. Look at this. The guy's eaten half of his already. You can't wait, can you?
Third one here today, Jordan King. I like mine with onions, mushrooms, and provolone. All right, you got choices here in Philly, all right? They give you that, but the fact is that you can eat these things in 4 bites. You know, that's my deal.
Is that with the extra grease or not?
No, always with the extra grease here, Curt.
Well, they got cheese heads in Wisconsin. No. Here in Philly, you got cheesesteak heads, right?
Cheesesteak heads, absolutely. You know, you can tell it's not really catching on here like it has at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. But you see, Philly fans want to see everything. So you get the binoculars out and you hide them underneath the cheese heads. Yeah.
You gonna be able to finish this game, big guy?
Yeah. Now,
Between bites here?
I just finished
mine. You need me to fill? You want me to talk just for a little bit so you can go ahead and eat?
I just finished mine.
They get on guys a lot earlier in their career.
Yeah, you got to win immediately nowadays, and they think that with free agency you can do that, but free agency is what makes things frustrating for coaches.
Barry Sanders picks up only 1 before being brought down by Hollis Thomas.
Hollis Thomas, you know, used to be Ray Rhodes' maybe, right here in the middle, number 78. And what you'll see from Hollis is the ability to separate and get rid and shed of a blocker right there. Number 62, Tony Semple. And the thing that makes Hollis effective is he's got 39-inch arms. And when he extends those arms, he gets good separation from the offensive lineman.
2nd and 9, Batch. Quick pass to Herman Moore, complete. Michael Zordich brings him down, but Moore picks up 6 yards on the play. Herman Moore's second catch of the afternoon, 13 yards. But at least now they're thinking about it.
Yeah, and here he is right in the middle against Mike Caldwell, you know, a linebacker. Herman Moore's got to think, come on, fellas, if I can't beat Mike Caldwell here, you know, I'm never going to get the ball. You see a couple of blue jerseys flying over the top. Detroit lineman Semple there trying to pick somebody off the pile.
3rd and 3. Movement early. Flags are down. Movement right in the middle of the line. Let's see which side moved first.
False start. Offense, 87. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
And it's killing Bobby Ross. 14 penalties 2 weeks ago. Last week he said best officiating game he's ever been involved with in the NFL. Part of that was he only had 4 penalties called against him. But he said 2 of those penalties were just like that. Procedure penalties when they're a chance to get a 1st down and move the ball late in the game, maybe come back to win that game.
There's a big difference between 3rd and short and 3rd and 7, which is where they find themselves right now. Bash, quick pass, complete, and that's the tight end, David Sloan. Sloan, just his 4th catch of the year. He missed the first 6 weeks of the season on physically unable to perform list.
Yeah, David Sloan, you know, hasn't started now all season because of some injuries. Here's Sloan right here against Michael Zordich, right over the middle. 1-on-1 coverage here. You know, what they love about Sloan is he's big, and he can run, and he's a good blocker as well. 2 arthroscopic surgeries in the offseason have slowed him down.
Barry Sanders on 1st down. Brought down by Hollis Thomas. 5 yards on the loss. You talked about those long arms. Man, did he use them there.
Yeah, you know, and he stayed home on the backside and made sure before he shot and came back. You're going to see Hollis Thomas now coming from the right side of your screen. There's Greg Jefferson, gets the pressure, and here comes Hollis to clean up. You see, he needed all of those 39-inch arms there to be able to pull Barry Sanders in.
Quick pass incomplete. That pass intended for Herman Moore. Herman Moore has really had a tough afternoon of it. Hasn't been able to get much going. Quarterback has struggled. Herman Moore has struggled.
Well, here he is now. You know, you see his body language now. You know, kind of how hard is he running? How hard is he working to get open? They're not even looking at him. Very frustrated today. Bobbled that ball out of bounds. They're moving Herman around. Now he's in the slot. They're trying to find him over the middle.
So on third down, they need to get the ball to the 40-yard line of Philadelphia. Batch under pressure, goes down. Hugh Douglas, his second sack of the afternoon, number 4 for the Eagles.
Yeah, in 96, Al Wallace is the one that makes the play. Douglas gets the sack, but Al Wallace makes the play. Coming over, right tackle Larry Tharp, and the Eagles are winning the war on the edges today. You're going to see right here Al Wallace coming on the outside, going to force Charlie Batch to step up. And then Hugh Douglas comes from the inside over Mike Compton for the sack.
Flags are down already. On the punt, Freddie Solomon calls for the fair catch from John Jett. Referee Dick Hantak heading downfield to see what's up.
If this is a man downfield early on Detroit, you got to repunt this ball. I mean, Philadelphia needs to make a play. You give Freddie Solomon a chance back there. There it is. The little man downfield.
That's called against the Eagles.
Oh. Well, that's the wrong signal then.
Illegal substitution, defense. The 12th man was not off the field prior to the snap. Penalty is declined.
Special teams penalty, Curt. You know, again, you're going to back them up now in bad field position when they can't really afford to start a drive with bad field position. They wanted to put him opposite former #1 pick in 1995, Mike Mamula, and thought they had a lot of speed coming off the edge, but Mamula's injury in preseason has prevented that.
Eagles start at the 11-yard line. Charlie Garner. 2 yards on the pickup. Alan Aldridge with the tackle. Keep in mind the first Union Grand Slam of skating today. Later on today, Michelle Kwan, Todd Eldridge, and some of the world's best skaters meet in the culmination of skating's hottest event. Don't miss the first Union Grand Slam of skating following football at 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific. Check local listings for the exact start time in your area.
Getting to start to feel like skating weather here in Philadelphia.
Bobby Hoying on second down. Handoff to Garner. Garner gets first down yardage and some more. Dragged down from behind by Ron Rice all the way out to the 42-yard line. Penalty flag on the play, though.
Charlie Garner showing that burst that allowed him to average 4.7 yards a carry his first 4 years here. You're going to see right here, Robert Porcher goes inside. Good job by Jason Dunn, knocking him around, and Ian Beckles. Good block on Alan Aldridge, allowing that lane to open, and Charlie hit that thing full speed. And that's the man going north-south now. He's not looking to his left or his right, he's looking at the goal line.
And they pick up the penalty flag, so the 28-yard run will stand. First down from the 42. Garner again. 2 more yards. Dan Owens on the tackle. But Garner, with that last run, put him over the 100-yard mark, now at 127 after that last carry of 2 yards right there. And before today, the Lions had given up 100 yards rushing to one guy one time all season. That was Robert Smith of the Vikings.
Well, Charlie Garner was the last 100-yard rusher here in Philadelphia. He did it against the Redskins in the Week 16 last year down at Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. They've gone this entire year so far without having one.
They hadn't had a 100-yard rusher nor a 100-yard receiver until this afternoon. 2nd and 8. Hoying. Quick pass complete to Irving Fryer. Fryer gets another first down.
And Fryer's been their Pro Bowl wide receiver the last 2 seasons. And he said this has been the most miserable year of his life and the worst time of his life. You're seeing on outside right here, good block by Jason Dunn on carrier, allowing this lane to open up for Irving Fryer. Now Alan Aldridge, number 55, comes in. Pretty late shot right there. And I think you got to throw the yellow flag because Fryer was out of bounds. Now, you don't get many flags when you want it 7, though, Curt.
1st and 10 from the 48 of Detroit. Fryer in motion. Garner. Charlie Garner picks up 3. Stephen Boyd with the tackle. Well, we talked about this running game of the Eagles, and Charlie Garner's at 130 yards right now, and Deuce Staley, the other running back's at 89, and for a Lion defense that hadn't given up, one 100-yard rusher all season, what's been the difference today?
I think the difference has been that they've been in the game. And Ray Rhodes talked about managing the game, get us to the fourth quarter with the lead or get us close, because we can execute this offense and use our big physical offensive line to pound people. He's doing that now.
Second down. The pitch to Garner. Charlie Garner doing a little bit too much dance. He's going to lose a couple of yards there. Alan Aldridge with the tackle. Aldridge brought over in the offseason as a free agent from the Super Bowl champion Denver Broncos.
Their first time out.
You're going to see Kevin Turner's the fullback here. He's looking outside here. He's got the double team on Porche, and Charlie Garner's looking inside. Two guys not meshing together on that play.
And the Lions call a quick timeout, their first of the second half. Shirley, his son Larry Jr., his three daughters Leslie, Robin, and Joanne. Our condolences go out to their family. And on third down and 8, Garner going to be close to the first down marker, about 2 yards shy, actually, the way they spotted. I think he got a bad spot there.
Well, he's definitely short, and the Eagles are going to be forced to punt. And throwing the swing pass to Charlie here in this situation isn't what they need. They need to look down the field. I mean, Bobby's taking a quick look, not enough of a look down the field before he dumps it off to Garner.
Fell right on the 40-yard line, so the spot was good. Tommy Hutton punts to Terry Fair. Low kick, and Fair's going to take it at the 11. Does some dancing. Gets it out to the 21-yard line, a return of 10 on the short punt of 29 yards. Let's check in with the out-of-town scores today. Dallas on top of the Giants by 10 in the fourth. New Orleans has come back in that game against Minnesota, tied it at 24.
Yeah, I tell you, that New Orleans team isn't as talented as the Philadelphia Eagles, but Mike Ditka has those guys playing smart and playing really, really hard. I've done a couple of Saint games this year. If you go man-to-man down the roster, I don't think the Saints measure up. But I think that's still what can happen with good coaching and good effort every Sunday and playing smart.
We are 10-9 here at Philadelphia on top. Barry Sanders with the handoff.
Watch out.
Loses the football. That ball came out before it was tackled, and that's a fumble.
That's a loose ball.
Brian Dawkins with the recovery.
And the Eagles, who have been -10 in the turnover column.
There's a flag down now.
Forced their first one today.
There's a flag down on the play, but that ball clearly came out before Sanders hit the ground.
Yeah, this is going to be holding against Detroit.
The ruling on the field was down by contact.
That's the wrong call. That ball clearly came out before Barry hit the ground. And so they say he was down by contact, meaning the Lions would keep the ball.
I didn't see anybody throw a beanbag to mark him down here. Here's Barry now. Vintage just in traffic, getting out.
Right
Ball's
there.
Out.
Holding.
Ball's out.
Offense, number 86. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. First down.
You're going to see, watch his left knee now. Is the ball out before Barry's left knee gets down to the ground? Can't see it there. The ball's out, but you can't tell if the knee was down. Here's the look out. The crowd just sees it upstairs on the diamond vision. Ball's out. Ball's out right here. Coming out of the arms, and the Eagles, who haven't had many breaks this year, didn't get one there.
Well, David Sloan was called for a holding penalty, so it's first and 20 from the 10-yard line. Bat scrambles. Gets rid of it. Overthrows Sloan, who was wide open, and he had enough yards for the first down there. Sloan at the 30-yard line, no one near him, and Bats couldn't get the completion. But this is a play that they got that maybe they shouldn't have had. Take another look at the fumble here.
Well, this is good. You see Barry now, juking and dancing and doing his magic. Mike Zordich knocking that ball right there. Hollis Thomas knocking that ball out from behind. That's a great play. Hollis Thomas, 15 yards downfield from his defensive tackle position.
5-yard penalty, loss of down, second down.
Charlie Batch just called for crossing the line of scrimmage before he threw the ball, so an illegal forward pass backs them up another 5 yards.
And that's a loss of down there also, Curt.
Detroit, 6 penalties on the afternoon, but 2 here in the last 2 plays. It is now 2nd and long. Batch complete to Moore. Herman Moore out to the 16-yard line. Gain of 9 before Alan Rossum brings him down.
You know, Curt, I played here for a couple of years and finished my career here and been in Philadelphia. And I tell you, these fans, they come out and support this team. They always have. You know, I remember going to Franklin Field in the late 60s and early 70s, watching Norm Snead, some bad teams. The crowd came out there, and they're a factor right now. I guarantee you that the tackles, Tharp, and on the other side, Roberts can't hear.
Well, Batch is under pressure on 3rd and long, gets rid of it, finds a wide open Sloan, and Sloan gets enough for the first down and still on his feet, all the way out to the 47-yard line, a gain of 31 yards on 3rd and 15.
And they just forgot about David Sloan in the scramble. I mean, give Charlie Batch credit for staying alive. Under all kinds of pressure, been sacked a bunch here today. Hugh Douglas coming off against Ray Roberts inside right there. Look at his head, it never goes down. See, he's looking to try to make a play.
This is a 2-minute warning.
We have reached the 2-minute warning here. The Eagles lead at 10-9, so the Lions have the ball and they're marching. Scoring this afternoon from that man, Jason Hanson, 3 of 3 on field goals. 1 from 41, 1 from 48, and 1 from 35. And right now they may need him.
Philadelphia has called their first timeout. This is a 30-second timeout.
Against that draw, guys are rushing the passer, their offensive linemen are throwing people upfield. That time Hugh Douglas made the play. He came back from his pass rushing circle and came back and tripped him up.
First down from the 42. Batch with time. Throws it away, incomplete, gets it way out of bounds.
You know, cold here.
There's a flag down.
You know, and you cannot measure a team's pass rush ability.
Offense, number 86, 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down, first down.
David Sloan, the tight end.
Curt, you can't always measure a team's pass rushing ability by how many sacks they have. Sometimes it's pressure quarterback hits, and other times, you know, how many times do you force the offense into holding you? You know, and there, right there, you know, has been killing Bobby Ross. Untimely penalties. When they get in a position to make a play, they haven't been able to do it.
First down, 20 to go from the 48. Batch under pressure, goes down again. Hugh Douglas, his 3rd sack of the afternoon, 11th and a half of the season. Once again, Al Wallace with the pressure from the other side.
Yeah, and also in the middle, Hollis Thomas.
Timeout. This is a 30-second timeout.
Getting good push in the pocket. You're going to see right here in the middle, good push against Tony Semple. Forces Charlie Batch. So there's Hollis right here, over against Mike Compton. He got there first. You know, and Douglas will, you see Hollis Thomas here against Mike Compton getting beat. Right up the middle. Now where does Batch go? There's 4 good green jerseys now surrounding Batch. There's Hollis Thomas using those arms, getting a separation. A couple different pass rush moves now. Defensive tackles aren't usually as swift as the defensive ends. Defensive tackles right there, what they try to do is grab the hands of the offensive lineman so they can't grab them. And that's Hollis Thomas's favorite move. Grab the hands so the lineman can't grab you, and then you get the push on them.
And Hollis Thomas has shown his quickness today, especially for a big guy at over 300 pounds.
Well, if the temperature today, it was 46 degrees at the start. It's cooler outside. Heavier guys like cooler weather.
2nd and 26. Batch. Up top for Johnny Morton. Caught and knocked out of bounds. Good enough for the first down. Ryan Dawkins pushes him out.
Morton, who's been quiet all day today, makes the biggest reception by a Lion receiver all afternoon. Great throw. Here's right here. There's the matchup. Alan Rossum and Morton.
A 23-yard pass completion.
Now, Brian Dawkins comes from the safety position, and I can't believe that Alan Rossum was double teaming the short receiver on that play. And they were leaving Dawkins all alone from the safety position to come over and try to make it.
3rd and 3 from the 35. Sanders, the lone setback. Gets the handoff. Flags are down. And that's going to be a false start against the Lions.
False start. Offense, number 75. By rule, there's a 10-second runoff as a foul occurred in the last minute. Please reset the clock to 24 seconds.
Well, that's a big penalty there because not only do you lose the yards, but you lose time right now, and you're trailing.
That's Tony Ramirez in there right now at the tackle position, right tackle for Larry Tharp.
Correction. There's a correction. The previous play was out of bounds. Thank you. The clock should be at 34 seconds.
Okay, so no 10-second runoff now.
No 10-second, you got out of bounds. Clock stopped.
Because the clock stopped because the play was out of bounds. It never restarted.
That's
Therefore, no runoff. I want to welcome those of you who have been watching the Giants and the Cowboys and the Bears and the Rams. Right now, Philadelphia leads 10-9. 34 seconds left. Lions with the ball at the 40. Batch, quick pass to Herman Moore, incomplete. Al Harris on the coverage. It's going to bring up a 4th down and 8.
Well, Al Harris was a pickup from Tampa Bay right at the end of training camp. Recommended. Right here, look all the room right here that Al Harris is giving Herman Moore. Nice job of Al Harris getting that left hand in to strip Herman Moore of the ball.
Brian Hansen, or making Jason Hansen, on to attempt a 58-yard field goal. The longest of his career, 56. The Eagles call a timeout, try and ice it.
Now what the Eagles don't need to do when they line up on here, Curt, is to have any kind of an offside. You know, don't be drawing offsides. Don't try to get an early jump. Just hold your position. If he can kick a 58-yarder, he'll win the game.
Well, in a situation like this, when you've got a guy who's never kicked one this long before, I mean, Jason Hansen, excellent kicker, one of the most accurate in NFL history, but his career long is 56, so he's going for 58. The pressure's already on him.
Well, they lost last week's game to Arizona because of a 53-yard field goal towards the end of the game. You know, so they lost last week on a play just like this. Jason Hansen, watching him in warm-ups today, has the leg to kick it 58 yards. No wind in the stadium right now.
It's a cold day, the ball's hard, but the wind is not blowing, and it can really swirl around here at Veterans Stadium, but it's not moving at all, so wind will not be a factor on this kick.
Now the farther back a kicker gets, the lower the trajectory is, because they're trying to get distance and not height.
So Hansen set up for the 58-yarder. John Jett is the holder. That's going to be short. No good. And the Eagles begin to celebrate heartbreak once again for Bobby Ross and the Lions, but there are 25 ticks still left to go on the clock.
And the difference on that field goal was the procedure penalty by Detroit. An extra 5 yards, and he would have made that field goal. Well, it would have been very close. Because he was dead on, it was just a couple yards short. Bobby Ross, who said he's weathering the most difficult coaching job of his tenure here in Detroit and San Diego in the NFL. You know, the misery continues.
And so Bobby Hoying and the Eagles, all they have to do is snap it and kneel, and then the game will be over. They'll have their second victory of the season in the bag. Take a look at this once again, 58 yards. This would have been his career long. Hansen kicked a 62-yarder once in college, but this one nowhere near. That's going to be the final play of the game here. One more look at that kick before we go.
Well, it's a good snap, but it's a good hold. Mike Compton, the snapper.
Mike Compton, the snapper. John Jett with the hold. Everything works. Hansen gets it right down the middle, but just not enough distance.
Hey, he's right down the fairway here. It's just not enough to get to the green. And that 5-yard penalty right before that kick was the difference. You see John Chet gets this ball down, gets laces going to the goal line, gives it everything he's got.
And he can see right there at that point he doesn't have enough leg on it. So the Lions fall again. Bobby Ross's team now 2-7 on the season. The Eagles also 2-7, but obviously much more jubilant after that win. Their second of the season, both of them here at home.
Yeah, Ray Rhodes, I tell you, he said, we just need some success around here. Any kind of success. We need a win to start restoring some confidence here in this team.
So the Eagles get the win, 10-9. We'll be back with the